a few hours ago to Gazan civilians, and the aim here is to minimize the damage to civilians. There are significant combat operations ongoing, and we are preparing for future and the continuance of our combat operations, and out of an understanding that there are civilians here whom are not our enemy and we do not want to target them, we are asking them to evacuate so that we will be able to continue to strike military targets belonging to Hamas in the Gaza Strip. That is the purpose, and I think that's an important update, relevant for you to be aware of. This is a first notice that we gave. We understand that this will take time. It's not an easy process, but we have issued this guidance, and the aim of the evacuation is simply to save lives. As you may have read in the media, this was communicated to UN authorities, first and foremost to UN authorities, and the IDF is in communications and liaison with UN authorities, transferring information to them and also listening to what the UN informs Israel about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And as I've said many times during the last 7 days, the IDF remains fully committed to the law of international conflict. We will carry ourselves accordingly, in sharp contrast to the enemies around us and to Hamas, which is in total disregard of anything related to values, norms, and definitely not the laws of armed conflict. Things that are important for everyone to know, I think, are related to casualties. Unfortunately, the number of Israeli casualties has risen again to 1,300 Israeli civilians and soldiers, and more than 3,000 wounded. There is a massive national effort involving almost all of the security organizations and many of the ministries of the Israeli state, which is focused on taking the bodies from the same communities that we spoke about yesterday, like, for instance, Kfar Aza, Be'eri, and Nahal Oz, and many other communities in the entire southern area, collecting the bodies, bringing them to a center in Tel Aviv, identifying them, and then making sure that their next of kin, their loved ones, are able to take them and to provide them a final and respectable burial. That's ongoing. It is a tedious and long and very detailed process, taking lots of resources. We have never ever in our history been forced to deal with such a situation, and it is ongoing. It will take days, and as we match and identify more and more of the Israeli bodies that are uncovered in the communities, we will have more information about missing persons and perhaps the whereabouts of people that we are still at this stage not aware of where they are. And clearly loved ones are looking for them, asking questions and demanding those answers, and we are working hard at providing those answers. Other than that, the Northern Front, which we have spoken about a few times, has been relatively stable over the last hours. We are on high alert on the north, as we have been over the last few days, with enhanced troops, vigilant, watching the actions of Hezbollah. And same thing could be said about the Golan Heights. So we spoke about Lebanon and the Golan Heights. As we begin the 7th day of this war against Hamas, I wish to emphasize what our aim is. Our aim is to take all of Hamas's military abilities and strip them away. At the end of this war, our intention is that Hamas will no longer have any ability to strike or harm or kill Israeli civilians. That is the purpose of what we're doing now inside the Gaza Strip. That is why the Israeli Air Force has been delivering significant amounts of ordnance, of bombs on the Gaza Strip, and that is what we will continue to do as this war unfolds and as we will deal a decisive blow to Hamas for the horrible, heinous act.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.